That is the biggest spider I've ever seen. Woof, where do I begin? Well, I guess I'll begin with, hey friends, it's Sam. So this storage shed is kind of a hot mess. Right now, the outside is really like an eyesore, and we're doing a lot of work in this backyard, and this just needs a lot of help. And honestly, the inside is like a whole other animal, but I think what we're gonna do this weekend is we're gonna tackle just giving this thing a little bit of a glow up. I don't wanna spend too much money on it, and I don't wanna spend too much time on it, but I do wanna make it look better, so let's get started. Alright, so this project might look familiar because I shared it as a short on my channel a while back and got tons of requests to do a full video for it. Plus, I've been craving a good weekend project and this just ticks off all of those boxes, so let's do it. Okay, last time I opened this thing, some weird stuff jumped out at me, so I'm like not super stoked about opening this thing again. Ready for the grand reveal? It needs a good cleaning in here. The previous homeowners like kind of left a lot of stuff behind, which is great and not great at the same time, but they left things like a snowblower, which is awesome, and they left some tool, like gardening equipment, but they also left other things that we definitely are never gonna use. So I do have to do some inventory here and clean this out. My goal first is to start by emptying this shed, and then I'm gonna like power wash the entire thing. I'm gonna remove any of like the hardware that I can that I'm not using, like the doorknobs have to be replaced, the locking mechanisms have to be replaced. And then we're gonna paint this thing, and then I'm gonna kind of make it look as nice as I can. That's the goal. That just like is what's in my brain. So there's a lot to do and it's hot out, so let's do it. Ugh, cleaning out a shed is not fun. Buying this house legitimately felt like being in one of those zombie apocalypse movies where the old homeowner just leaves like all their stuff and runs. There was a lot of stuff to sort through in this entire house. I should listen to something while doing this. I feel like a true crime podcast while cleaning out an old, creepy storage shed makes a lot of sense. Let's do that. Oh, that's a big spider. Dude, sorry. I'm like rehoming you. I'm gonna start with things that are gonna leave my yard. How about that? I'm really nervous. I don't know what is living in here. We're doing great. I'm gonna donate these chairs. Oh, I just walked into the biggest spider web ever. That is the biggest spider I've ever seen. I'm afraid to, we're gonna deal with you last. These would be great for covering the yard while I'm painting, so these will go here. If you can't tell, cleaning out the shed was very overwhelming. Luckily, most of this stuff ends up getting donated, but it was a lot. Microfiber cloths always come in handy. Ew! That's the biggest dead cricket? What are you? What is that? Holy hell, this spider is so big. Like, I'm not exaggerating, this spider is huge. Oh my god, look at this thing. You gotta look at this thing, you guys. It's so big. Do you see that? Do you see that, dude? Oh my god. You look like you definitely might kill me. All right, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna let you have time to evict the premises. I come in peace. Please leave. There's a lot happening here and I don't even know like where to begin with these gardening tools. I'm really nervous that the spiders gonna just like pop out like tile saw is important. I feel like I just ate a bug. These are the kind of spiders that like turn you into Spider-Man.
Go web! Go web, go!
Like that's the only way I'm cool with you guys is if I just have like web slinging powers after this. Ugh. So many spiders. That's also a big spider. I swear like this shed is just breeding all of the spiders on Long Island. Sorry everyone on Long Island for all the spiders that are breeding in my shed. We're hosing all of that down. Let's get this wood out and then it's power washing time. Okay, I'm 100% going to power wash this thing before I touch anything else. Yeah, sounds great. So a couple things here. First is welcome to my life where I literally just have conversations with myself all of the time, whether or not my camera is recording or not. And secondly, if you couldn't tell, I just didn't have a great time cleaning out this shed. The clutter was overwhelming, the spiders were overwhelming, the dirt was overwhelming. So after basically removing everything, I gave the inside of the shed first a really good wash down. And then I moved to the outside of the shed and power washed that as well to prep it all for paint. Spoiler alert, the internet was not very happy with my paint choice. We'll talk about it in a second. But for now, let's focus on the fact that power washing anything dirty, like concrete in particular, is so satisfying to watch. Alright, so once the shed was prepped, dried, and ready for some paint, it was time for the paint color that divided the internet. I decided to go with a charcoal black color on this shed. I don't know, I really wanted to paint the shed in this black color family-ish, just because our new deck now has these really fun metal accents that are black, and I wanted it to feel like it ties into the yard rather than sticking out like a sore thumb. I also want to add more black metal accents to the rest of our house in the future, so this just made sense to me, and I feel like it looks really modern and clean. I think a lot of people were worried that painting the shed a darker color would mean that it's going to be super hot on the inside of the storage shed, but to be quite honest, it was already hot in there. And I didn't see a huge difference in the temperature pre-painting and after painting, and really I'm only going to be storing mostly gardening equipment in there anyway. But ending my rant on that, let's move forward. So at this point, I just wanted to give the doors some love, so I removed any old hardware, filled any holes with Bondo, gave the doors a pretty light sanding, and then I decided to paint them in a darker black color just to give the shed some visual contrast. And since I was already hot and dirty and I already had my sprayer out, I decided to be super ambitious, and on the same exact day, I also sprayed the inside of the shed as well. Those 3 hooks that are hanging there, by the way, I could not remove them off of the wall, so I just decided to spray them with the rest of the shed. If this were like a DIY project in my home, I would have removed those with whatever force it took, but they're just gonna be storing shovels, so I really don't care. Okay, day 2 of this storage shed makeover. It's funny because my other half is like, why do you keep calling it like a storage shed? It's a shed. But I was explaining to him, like, when I say shed, I think of my shed shop. But my shop's not gonna be in the shed. My shop's gonna be in the garage at this house. So like, it's just a storage shed. It's kind of really nice to have a storage shed, right? Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, so I got a lot done yesterday. I'm actually like really sore, to be honest. It was really hot, but I'm so glad that I hustled. I'm so glad I got it done because today it's gonna rain. So I am going to get some exterior upgrades done first before it starts raining in a couple of hours. And then once it starts raining, I can camp out in here and start like organizing and building some storage and like, you know, you get the drill. So yeah, I think I should get started, huh? All right, let's do this. Let's get started. We got this. 2 days, we got this, we could do it. So luckily, because I busted my you-know-what on Saturday, on Sunday, all I had to do was final touches. And like I mentioned, I didn't want this to be a complicated project. I wanted super simple projects to just liven up this shed. So I added new doorknobs, I added some solar-powered lighting to the outside. I also added some solar-powered lighting to the inside, which was pretty cool. You will see that in a second. And I also decided to just add a couple of decorative little wooden paver tile things. I don't even know what the technical term is for this. I'll link them below this video along with everything else I used for this project. But I decided to add those in front of the shed as well and just fill in whatever divots were in the lawn with some soil underneath. And since I want this storage shed to mostly be for gardening stuff, because I recently learned how to actually take care of plants and not kill them and then replace them with new plants and pretend like I didn't kill the first one, you know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I decided to make a cute little potting bench to put in there as well for some gardening equipment. And a quick call back to, I don't know, a minute ago when I talked about the solar light on the inside. This is actually a really cool light. I applied a solar panel to the outside of my shed and then hooked it up to a light on the inside of the shed. I will link this in the video description along with everything else that I used for this makeover. But at this point, it was time to kind of move some stuff back in, and this project was done. Now, does this shed look like a brand new shed? Absolutely not. But did it need a good weekend refresh? Absolutely. And you know how much I love weekend projects. I am a tried and true weekend warrior at heart, and weekend projects make me so happy. And there's no arguing that this shed looks way better now than it did before. And all it really took was some decluttering, some cleaning, some painting, some little tiny updates, and I just feel so much better about it. I hope that you all liked this easy weekend project. If so, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell. I promise there will be more weekend projects on this channel forever and ever. In the meantime though, friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me as usual, and I will see you soon with a new project. But until then, friends, happy DIYing.